The Juki MO-655 is a very versatile 5-thread serger. Here we show how to thread it for a 4-thread overlock stitch.
Begin by opening the front door, raising the presser foot, and disengaging the cutter blade. Work the hand wheel until the needles reach their maximum height. This model is a 5-thread serger, but we are threading it for a 4-thread overlock stitch. The leftmost cone is for the left needle, the center front cone is for the right needle, the rightmost cone is for the lower looper, and the cone in back is for the upper looper. We'll start with the upper looper. We'll bring the thread through the thread guides in the guide pole. Next, we'll bring the thread through the blue color-coded thread guide, twist it around, and catch the thread to make a little twist through that guide. Next, following the blue guides, we will bring the thread through the tension discs, and here I make a point of pulling that thread so it sits in between the tension discs. Then it goes down through another guide, through another blue coated guide, and into the internals of the machine. Once inside the machine, the thread goes through another thread guide, then it goes through a color-coded thread loop, then through another color-coded thread loop, and I have to be careful not to get the thread here caught in the wrong loop, which it is. There we go. Got it isolated from that loop. And then from here, it goes up and goes through that little loop and thread the eye of the upper looper. The lower looper threads similarly, but with a few added steps. Again, we start by running the thread through the guide on the thread guide pole. Next, we'll bring the thread into the guide, catch it there. From here, the thread goes through the red color-coded thread guides into the tension disc, through another red colored thread guide, through yet another one, and into the internals. Once inside the machine, it goes through a red thread guide. It goes through another color-coded loop here, and then it goes into, let's see, a guide right there. And we'll stop to point out that this machine has actually possesses two separate lower looper arms. This one right here that I'm pointing at is the chain looper, and it's not the subject of this video. The looper that we want to thread is this one right here. It's the lower looper. And to thread that, there's a little switch down here that when you press it, it disengages the lower looper, and it also brings out an arm for threading. And so we're going to go in there and thread the guide that popped out. And after we put the thread through that guide, then we're ready to thread the lower looper itself. To disengage or to re-engage the loopers, simply you can flip the lever up or if you rotate the hand wheel forward, it will automatically close up. To thread the right needle, we will follow the dual colored green and brown markers. And again, we'll start by bringing the thread through the guides in the guidepost and bringing it down. Next, we'll bring the thread into the guide, catch it on there to make that little twist of thread. Bring the thread through the tension disc, the green and brown labeled tension disc, into the thread guide that's labeled green and brown. And then we will bring the thread up here on the green guide, through the green and brown guide here, and then, let's see, catch the thread on that guide right there, and then we will thread the needle. The left needle threads almost identically to the right needle. It just follows a different set of color-coded guides. In this case, a set of purple-orange guides. We will bring the thread into the guide, and then we will catch the thread as before to make that little twisty loop. Bring the thread through the tension disc, then through the orange and purple guides, through a guide right here above the left needle, and then finally down to thread the left needle. Once the needles are threaded, bring the threads underneath the presser foot and behind the machine, the needle threads and the looper threads. Then re-engage the cutting blade, close the front door, lower the presser foot, and you should be ready to serge.
Find more lessons, techniques, and inspiration at lineofsalvage.com and on social media.